And we're live. She'll be back in a minute. She's going to get something from the kitchen. So I'm going to start this. Okay, I'll be right back. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Way You Drink podcast. I'm Tim Gillette, one of your co-hosts here. Gladys, while our other co-hosts will be here with you shortly. We do this broadcast every Monday night to talk about things that we like to eat and drink, and we usually try to put a unique theme to it every week and make it unique, make it fun. And you want to find out more, go check out the history of our show. We've been doing 100. This is 108 episode 118. All right. We try to do every Monday night. On occasion, we have a skip on Monday nights because just life happens sometimes. Anyway, this week we decided to do a very unique one that I don't know if we're actually going to do this. You want to call what we're doing a tribute or a throw together? I don't know. I mean, really, we grabbed themes of an idea, and we did it over text over the weekend to come up with this idea.
And we normally don't do that. We normally have a full-on conversation.
Yes. We normally talk about it. We don't normally text back and forth to figure this out, right? Because I can come up with the idea, but Gladys can perfect the idea. I'll come up with the idea, and Gladys will shoot me down. All right. Every now and then she comes up with the idea and I shoot her down, but that's very rare that ever happened. Because if she comes up with the idea, usually it's pretty good. However, this idea was her idea. She actually came up with this one here, and it was, why don't we do something to tribute to 9/11? 9/11, all right, 23 years ago. It is hard to believe that the children of those people who died that day can drink now.
Right.
But that's one of the reasons why we would do it, because those children may have never known their mother or their father who died that day at 9/11. All right, whether they were in anywhere in the world, their children can now have a drink and party with us.
Right. There you go.
And I think the way that we do it is we celebrate that, not make this a downer show.
Yeah.
Right. And some of the unique ideas we thrown out. Now, I'm going to give you my bad idea first, so you people who like the police officers can think you hate on me. But no, it's not. All right. I thought, well, what do police officers eat? Donuts. Right? But, a lot of those, you think about it, a lot of those police officers, a lot of times that they serve or they do those long hours, that sugar rush can get them through.
Right.
All right. And if you remember, like I grew up in the East Coast, the donut shops, Dunkin', or I think we had one called Yum Yum.
Right.
24 hours. You basically walk in and get a cup of coffee and a donut or a cruller or something at 3 a.m. Yeah. Whereas a lot of diners kind of close their menu down at 11 p.m. And that poor police officer who had to work the night shift, he didn't know where to get a snack other than what he packed in his lunchbox.
Right.
So the donuts, I get it, why it became a unique thing, because a lot of donut shops were open 24/7.
Right.
The tribute we want to do to the Firehouse is something that firefighters did in 1994, and I'm sure, I don't, did you put that on the notes for today or no?
No, I did not.
Okay, so in 1994, some firemen got together and they created a business that we are actually going to celebrate today, and that is Firehouse Subs.
Yeah, they founded by Chris Sorensen and Robin Sorensen, along with their retired fire captain father. So their vision was to create the type of food firefighters crave. That's why their subs are handcrafted and piled high with premium meats and cheeses, then served hot on warm toasted sub rolls. And at Firehouse Sub, every sub you purchase helps provide much needed life-saving equipment to community first responders. And if you go to firehousesubs.com/foundation, you can learn more about that.
Oh. Which is a good thing, all right, that, and what better way to actually honor them is a sub, because I don't think we've ever done a submarine sandwich on the show.
Yeah, I don't think we have.
And I basically walked into a Subway today, Firehouse Subs, and just I picked one off the menu and had to make it for me today. And they've got a beautifully smelled dill pickle in here.
Yes, I know. Mine kept.
Oh, baby, guys. I mean, I love dill pickles. Anyway.
I did too. They said, would you like a dill pickle spear? And I said, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I ended up with the small. I almost wanted the medium. I ended up with the small. So I told them a Firehouse Sub in over here on Nyberg Road. I said, you're going to be on my podcast. It's going to be paired against cinnamon whiskey. And they're all, ooh. I said, what do you recommend? Because this was the first time I had walked in. So they kind of gave me the lowdown. And then I said, okay, this is what I'm doing. And so two of the guys are like, turned to and there's like, well, the Italian sub works. But then and I went, okay, you had me at brisket. Which one is that? And
yeah.
It was the Smokehouse beef and cheddar brisket. So it's beef brisket smoked for up to 16 hours. They add cheddar, mayo, and barbecue sauce. And I thought, well, that's going to go beautifully. So I thought I had to do that. No matter what I did with the cinnamon whiskey, they figured that would go well. So guys at Firehouse Subs,
right up there for everyone to see. Firehouse Subs. These are the people we're supporting tonight. All right.
Into a little.
Yeah, they have it. And it's stamped on the box too, but it's kind of hard to read.
Right.
All right, on the box.
Let's show me your bag. That way I can get a picture of it, so that way we can show both.
Hold on, we'll do this. I'll put the bag up.
There you go.
So there we go. Firehouse Subs. All right. I got the roast beef. It basically said put everything on it. Now I'm a roast beef sub kind of person.
Okay.
Back east, like the Italian sub. All right, kind of like a good mixture of subs. I like the tuna sub, all right, which I kind of think that fit tonight's episode. So I did get a roast beef sub, which is something I normally like. And I really haven't checked to see all the vegetables on it. And I haven't checked to see what they put on it. And I was going to taste it on the air. But yes, we are doing the cinnamon whiskey, which the main brand name that everybody knows is Fireball, which do you even have Fireball on your shelf? I don't.
No, I never had it. Somebody made me a drink one time that had it in there, and I'm like, what is this weird taste in here? And it was Fireball, but there's so many what I consider chemicals. So we've had this, or at least I've had this on the show before, Skunk Brothers Spirits. Mm-hmm. They are corn whiskey with natural flavors. So this is 40% alcohol by volume, 80% proof. This is the 375 milliliter bottle. It is bottled, distilled and bottled by Skunk Brothers Spirits Inc. in Stevenson, Washington. So from where I'm at, it's probably a little bit over an hour 15 minutes. Cute little town. They're in an industrial area, but their place is just adorable. And I love the name Skunk Brothers. So that was kind of fun. And it all began when a young boy mistook a skunk for a dog in a snowstorm. From that day on, the boy was known as Skunk. He raised the stink everywhere he could. Well, that boy grew up to be the man we call Dad, and we are here to carry on his legacy. Get skunked. So, when this one goes to Maverick, because he did get hit by a skunk at the family reunion a few weeks back. And I still think that there's a little bit of stench in this one small section of him, because with that much fur, it's hard to get out. So it's taken how many baths? He's had like 8 baths since then with the different things to try to get that stench off. Note to everybody, do not use warm or hot water. Use the stuff that is specifically for skunks to remove, not just odor remover, but skunk odor remover, because it's more like an oil that when you get the right stuff, it attacks the follicles or the molecules of the skunk, which then neutralizes it. Let it sit for a bit, especially on a dog or cat, and use gloves, because what happened was I wasn't using gloves, and so it got all over my watch band, and it's taken forever. The stink is off, but it's taken a lot of work. Use only cold or room temperature water, because if you use warm, lukewarm, or hot water, the follicles of the hair will expand, and then the skunk stink will get inside, and then it'll be even harder to get out.
I was going to eat food, and you're talking about skunk smelling dogs.
Well, it's just in general, because it can come. You got to quarantine it will get over everything. So I'm just letting you know, because
I'm about to eat food here.
All right. Well, I thought that I should share. Well, to bring. So we thought, you know what? we're going to remember. So today's a Remembrance Day for 9/11. There was a podcast I was listening. Joe Dittmar was a host there. He was a survivor, and he was talking about lessons about situational awareness and crisis management and the importance of communication. And it said, because they were on the South, I think it was the South, if I'm correct. Yes, they were in the South building. And so they were trying to get out. Everything looked normal. A lot of shoes, women's shoes were all over, because if you're in heels, and in New York, most women are in heels, they're in suits, especially when you have some financial locations, they're going to be a little bit dressed up. And they said that it wasn't until the 35th floor they started encountering paramedics in the Port Authority. And he was saying that they knew that they were going to fight a fight they could not win. You could see it in their eyes, but they still did it. They still tried to save people that there was people that they knew they were going to try to save, they could not save. They were going to try to put out fires that they knew they couldn't put it out, but yet they did it anyway. And he said it felt almost like cowards, that you can be that strong, and here we are going down. But if you don't have the equipment, it's like you cannot have that mindset, in my opinion. But I'm sure that as all these people are trying to get down, that's the thought that they're having, at least some of them. The one cute story that he said was that when they got to the 18th floor, there was a voice that they heard through a megaphone. He was singing at the top of his voice, and he said it was a horrid voice that only a mother could like on payday. He literally said that. It was the security guard from Morgan Stanley that had already evacuated the North building, all the staff and everything. And so he went to the South Tower to help. His name was Rick Rascola. He was singing and making jokes. The Morgan Stanley folks that worked there absolutely hated his safety drills, but it really helped them save their lives, because he has a military, or had a military intelligence made him concerned about the vulnerability of the World Trade Center complex. And in 97, he delivered numerous reports about the security concerns, including possible attacks by planes being crashed into the building. He even suggested that Morgan Stanley leave New York City and relocate to New Jersey, where it was safer and cheaper. And the company was in no position to leave the city. So then what he did is he turned to training the employees in safety and evacuation drills instead. So he made them go through this. And they really thanked him, because if they hadn't gone through the drills that he put them through, he was like, no, this is what you need to do. And when they say stay put, he knew better. And he's like, nope. So he started evacuating one of the largest tenants of the North Tower, and got him in. And in the middle of all this crisis, he found the time to call his wife, Susan, and he told her to stop crying. He said, I have to get these people to safety. If something were to happen to me, I want you to know I've never been happier. You made my life. Mm-hmm. And his safety drills were on point, the singing with the worst voice, but he kept everybody calm from that South Tower. And he gave up his life helping others. And he was credited with saving 2,687 lives on 9/11, and only 13 Morgan Stanley employees didn't make it out. He got everybody else out. So he was a hero. And Jim was saying that even intelligent people do stupid things. That this one guy had been in charge of the Yankees tickets. He went back up to get those Yankees tickets. The good thing is he also came back down. Joe had the ability to meet with him, but truly, for Rick, he got the second highest Medal of Honor he could have, and it was presented to his wife at the White House. So there's a lot, and these are just two little stories, one mainly on Rick, but I thought, you know what, we gotta show gratitude to those that put their lives, not just at 9/11, but in taking care of all of us, all the first responders, the medical staff, you got also the police department, so there's a lot of great things going on out there. And one story that's more local, if you will, this guy, I think he was I forgot what state, he got pulled over, and he got pulled over because he had both of his taillights out. And so he wasn't sure. This is nothing to do with 9/11. This is just about the character of some of the officers out there. And he was the guy said, I did not know this. And he said, I just got him checked. They said they were going to do diagnostics. So then the officer says, well, he did some, can I pull your pop open your hood? So he did that. And then he played with it, got it to work. He tried all these things. He could have given him a ticket. He could have given him a warning. He did nothing. This officer just wanted to help this individual with his taillights, got him to work, and then let him on with, his day. So there's a lot of good that's out there. We just have to focus on the good. Most of the time we're focused on all the bad things we hear. So Rick, here's to you and to those first responders that are out there. Cheers to you.
Cheers. Yeah, I'm drinking today. So some of the cinnamon whiskey. I use one that's called Iron Hot.
Okay.
Iron Wolf. I've told many of you guys I have it before. It's their version of a cinnamon whiskey. And I know we have many recipes that we could share that could be done with this. I'm just right now just drinking it by itself. No.
I put one ice cube in there because I wanted to remind myself of the delicious taste of it. Yeah. You can add ginger beer to this, which I have.
I think I have a ginger beer down here.
Oh, you can do lemonade, sparkling Sicilian lemonade. So you can do something like this.
And I actually, believe it or not, it's been known to go with this.
Coca-Cola. Oh, Dr. Pepper, yes.
No, Coca-Cola's one, but Dr. Pepper I've seen mixed with this.
Well, the funny thing is I was doing a photo shoot this morning, helping somebody out, and they had their little fridge with the LaCroix and some other things. And of course, I had been craving, there you go. I don't know why I don't drink soda, but all of a sudden yesterday I was at the store, I was craving Coca-Cola. And I almost got the Dr. Pepper. So I told him I'm going to grab one of these on my way out. I didn't. I forgot. But I was going to get a little mini.
So the fizz from the Dr. Pepper and the thing from the fumes from the cinnamon are a pretty bad kick. Whoa. Which caused me to cough up real quick.
Well, I've been coughing up a storm for over a month. I think it's been like 7 or 8 weeks. My asthma's been acting out. There's fires out here, so that hasn't really helped my situation any from my asthma. So all sorts of things going on here, but definitely the choice of this brisket with the barbecue sauce goes very well with the cinnamon whiskey. It really does.
Of course, I ate my roast beef sub because I was starving, which I normally do while Gladys is going with our history lesson for the day. But I went to Dunkin' Donuts. I was just going to get one donut, but I'm like, I got to get 6. So I'm going to explain the 6 donuts I got.
Oh, pretty.
So they had 3 different kinds of frosted. Then we have a chocolate glazed, a regular glazed, and the fact that I grew up in the Northeast, all right, and I can pretty much tell you almost every firefighter or police officer has had the Boston cream.
Right.
So
I did not even know the chocolate glaze was a thing.
Huh? This is how good it is. Can you see that?
You can't see through it.
You can't see through it because the hole's locked.
Well, as I was leaving Kroger yesterday, somebody had a box of Krispy Kremes, and I went, nope, I'm getting them tomorrow, meaning today.
Yeah.
I forgot. Well, pickles and Fireball. It's not, I mean, it doesn't taste bad. It's a different flavor. One other thing, if you get like a mint liqueur, fire and ice, so you get that spiciness here, and then the ice from the menthol. So that's another one. Dr. something or other. It's a menthol liqueur. Was another option. You can add lemonade. You can add iced tea. There was the Man Mosa.
Yeah, I've seen the Man Mosa in there. Hold on.
Which was the Fireball whiskey, 3 ounces of champagne or sparkling, and a splash of orange juice. mix together and you're good. But there are some other easy ones. If you do a hard seltzer on fire, again, a shot of whiskey and a can or pint of hard seltzer, you can just top it off. There in the picture that I saw, they had drank a little bit and they're just pouring the Fireball into the can. I would put it in a glass. Just drinking out of a can, it's just doesn't taste as good. Or you can have the shot of Fireball and then drink the hard cider next to it. That's fine. There was the Flaming Beaver that, of course, because of Oregon State beavers, I had to look at that. But I also saw the same recipe with it being called Girl on Fire. It's essentially whiskey with the reason the Flaming Beaver is because of the woodchuck cider. However, the Girl on Fire was just a shot of cinnamon whiskey and cider. So, and you can do apple juice also, but one of the things that I did grab that's around here in my stuff was, because I only had my little apple juice, I thought, well, if I do something with apple
juice, yeah,
so I don't have cider, I did grab my Meadowland simple syrup wood fire apple. So this can give it a little bit of that wood fire taste, that normally would be with instead of the cider. Then iced tea. You can do the ounce of cinnamon whiskey, iced tea, and then 5 ounces of iced tea, and then a half an ounce of lemon juice. Pour it in a tall glass, and there you go. So that one's a Fireball and iced tea. And then, of course, one of your favorites, a mule. So you can have a Fireball mule, which is
I've tried that before. I'm not a fan of it.
Okay. Is it because of the splash of pineapple juice, or is it just that ginger beer with the whiskey?
Ginger beer and the whiskey.
Okay. Yeah, there's certain things that I'm like, I don't know if I'd like this. Something about lemon with cinnamon, just I like it, but I'm not sure. If you're putting cinnamon and
before the pandemic, I would go out on a trip, and most restaurants had Fireball into it when you went out, or most hotel bar. So I always would get like a Fireball and ginger ale, a Fireball and the Fireball old fashioned. I've had them. It wasn't until I started tasting other cinnamon whiskeys and then doing regular bourbons to go, you know what? Some of that stuff's really just not as good as I thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a Fireball Cherry Apple Bomb, which had grenadine, the Fireball whiskey, apple cider, ginger ale, and then the maraschino cherries. And I thought, okay, that sounds quite interesting. But there's another one that was apple pie on the rocks. We might have to do that in the fall, just because to me that sounds more of a, October, November, December type. But it has vanilla vodka, cinnamon whiskey, organic apple juice, ground cinnamon, and then for the rim of the glass you put brown sugar, and then of course the cinnamon stick for garnish and ice. So that one sounded fun. It was vegan Yak Attack, and she even went through how to find out if your alcohol is vegan or not. So that was kind of neat. But Fireball and cola, Fireball and ginger, Fireball and cranberry juice are others that are just in Fireball and lemonade, Fireball and iced tea. So those are some that are just very easy to make that you can just do at home.
I don't know, Brenda. I think the lemon and orange swap, because I do like orange taste sometimes better.
Yeah.
I noticed the where was it that had the mule had lime juice into it. I was wondering if I'd want to put lemon juice.
Yeah, I would think that lemon juice would go better with cinnamon, because I have made cinnamon tea and then added lemon, so yeah, I think the orange would kind of be a little bit more, it's still citrus, but it's a little bit more calm. There was a Fireball Manhattan and a Fireball Old Fashioned, which I thought, so the Fireball Manhattan has the cinnamon whiskey, bourbon, dry vermouth, and bitters, whereas the Old Fashioned is sugar, bitters, cinnamon whiskey, and bourbon. So I'm like, okay, well, I do have the I don't have the sugar, but I do have simple syrup. I do have my bitters because gotta always have bitters. And it says to stir. So this is one that I'm going to stir. There's no muddling of sugar because I don't have that. But if you are using sugar, you can use your bitters to dissolve the sugar.
Yeah.
And then you can add your whiskey, your bourbon, and your ice. So you have the options there. So I'm going to do that because I want to try that old fashioned. I thought that would be kind of fun. So I'm going to kind of figure out about a half of a teaspoon of sugar. I am using simple syrup, so it is a little bit different. And I'm going to be using orange bitters because I forgot to grab my orange because I love, having the orange on there. So that's the orange. And then 1 part Fireball, or I'm going to use my cinnamon whiskey.
Cinnamon whiskey.
Yeah, to 1
part. It's
part.
hard for us to say the word cinnamon whiskey, but yeah.
Yeah, cinnamon whiskey, y'all. So it's 1 part to 1 part. I'm going to do less. I'm going to do about 1.5 ounces. And I have so many whiskeys to choose from. I have my Burnside Oregon Oaked Bourbon. I have Old Forester's Kentucky Straight Bourbon. And I have Maker's Mark Kentucky Straight Bourbon. So I have a few different ones that I can choose from. So pick whichever one you want and then go with that. Whatever your favorites are, play with them. Because different whiskeys are going to taste different with the combination. So go with what you prefer, and then add your ice. I normally have a big ice cube that I use for my old fashioned, but I didn't get it out of the fridge, so I'm going to be using what I have. And so I normally don't do it this way because it dilutes my old fashioned, but I am using the larger cube, so hopefully those will last a little bit longer.
And remember, our larger cubes, they do last longer. Is one of the reasons why we use it.
Yep.
It doesn't dilute your flavor as fast.
Ooh, that's yummy. Oh my goodness. The cinnamon really gives it a little bit of a kick in there.
Have you seen that meme? Have you seen that meme on social media posts where the lady goes, she tastes like what do they call those? Little fireball candy. She goes, oh wow. She's just, I don't know, the candle. She smells it, goes, oh, this candle smells like Fireball. And she goes, that's called cinnamon to us non-alcoholics.
I have seen it. They're at a farmer's market or something.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That is very yummy. I absolutely like that. Oh my goodness. That is.
Now, I've been using cinnamon whiskeys. That's why. By the way, this one here is cinnamon and peppers. Is why it's iron hot.
Okay.
But I've been using cinnamon whiskey in my barbecue sauce for over 5 years now.
Well, I got the cinnamon whiskey probably, I don't know, was it when we did that one podcast, maybe it was a year ago, because I came across it by fluke. I was in Stevenson and walking around, and they had a tasting they had like a little arts fair, whatever it was. And so Skunk Brothers was there. So I got to taste a couple of things, and they said that they were open. So ended up going over there, and that was a cute place. Really enjoyed it. Actually, I think it was after a race at Cascade Locks. So. But this combination of the smokehouse brisket, along with
I do say cinnamon whiskey goes very, very well with sugary donuts.
Really? Okay. I might have to buy a donut on the way home. There is and I will have to say that the donut shop here, is it Mr. Maple, is here in Wilsonville. There was another one that they closed. Denny's Donuts closed. They were, because I don't usually eat donuts. I love donuts, but the problem is if I have a donut, I'm tasting it all day long.
Yes.
It drives me crazy.
One of the reasons why I go for the Dunkin' as opposed to your local donut shops. Your local donut shops, I don't know whether it's a stronger taste or what it is, but that taste tends to linger with you all day long. The next thing I eat will wash out Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme is the other one. It washes it right out. I don't know why.
Well, Denny's Donuts opened first, and then Mr. Maple opened within a month. Within 6 months, Denny's Donuts was gone. They were on, I think it's just location because Mr. Maple was facing the main road. It's not a main road. It's a small main road. Yeah. And you can just pull right in because you see it and there's 2 entrances. Whereas Denny's Donuts was on the other side where you have the yogurt place, the Chinese place, the Wendy's, the Subway. And they were just kind of tucked in there where I was wondering where the heck is Denny's Donuts. It took me forever to find them. I found them after they had closed. I was like, oh, well, that kind of, used to be an arts. They used to do like where you can paint your pottery. Yeah. You moved into that place, which also closed. So I think it was just location. But I will say that Mr. Maple, they donated a dozen donuts to our fundraiser with Rotary back in April. Walked in, asked, and they said, absolutely. So that was kind of nice. So that was part of the dessert dash. So that was, they helped us raise money. So thank you, Mr. Maple in Wilsonville. Aw, look at that.
My buddy right there, I'll tell you. Mm-hmm. We're never going to forget you, Robert. Anyway, Brenda says she was for the old fashioned too. So,
oh, Miss Brenda, miss you. Haven't seen you in a bit.
Yeah,
she's in Oregon. She's an amazing coach. Helps a lot of nonprofits.
Cool.
So she helps them. What are the things they need to do to be able to get the grants, raise the money, do the things. So she's doing a lot of good work out in the world here in Oregon. She was an executive director of one of the locations out here, and she went off on her own because she wanted to make a more of an impact on more individuals. So instead of just working for one, she says, "I'm going to work for all." And it's like the tide raises all boats. That's what she's trying to do. So thanks for being here, Miss Brenda Ray.
Cool things. So, yeah. Well, I mean, interesting things to think about 9/11. All right. And most people, I don't know if most people in our audience knew that Firehouse Subs was created by firemen. And while we look at the joke that of all the cops eat donuts, here's the truth: is maybe ask yourself why that's there, and look at the fact that cops have to work late shifts sometimes. Mm-hmm. So, Fireball whiskey, which is known as the Fireball or the cinnamon type whiskey, is a favorite amongst people. And I know many people who don't drink whiskey normally would drink a cinnamon whiskey, and that's if you think back, a lot of younger generations, the Fireball was their introduction to whiskeys for the first time.
Right. I mean, there's a song out there. I don't know. That's one thing I have not researched, which I forgot to do this time. So he's a Latin singer. Oh my goodness, his name just escaped me. But he sings the song Fireball. Mm. And I the first time I heard it was at the gym, and it's just got such a rhythm to it that when you're at the gym, that's what you need. You need that inspiration, that cadence, that drive to hear certain music. So Pitbull, that's who it is, Pitbull. So Pitbull sings Fireball. I have no idea if it has anything to do with Fireball or if he was, what came first. I'm not sure, or if there's any correlation. So I will have to do that research to see if there's any correlation there. But so, or it could have been that because of Pitbull hearing the song, people got acquainted with Fireball. I don't know. Sometimes there's those things that unexpectedly connections are made. Mm-hmm. But yeah, look out there, folks. There are other whiskeys that are cinnamon whiskeys that are not Fireball. Check them out. Support local. Skunk Brothers does ship out. Does yours? Do you know if they ship to other states?
I am not sure if Iron Wolf is shipping out yet. I've been to the distillery down in Spicewood, Texas, where they're from. We have given them shout outs with many other products here on the show. But I've not been to their distillery, and I've got to go down and visit again real soon. My friend Sandra D, both of us know Sandra D. Robinson, who lives in that town, and she introduced me to him. But after I got introduced to them, that's when I was able to start finding them. They got distribution in a lot of our Texas stores. So, yeah. But anyway.
So is your local liquor store, do they have it, or do you bring it when you go out there?
No, all my local stores have it.
I would hope so. I mean, they are Texas-based, kind of like all of our, like Burnside. They're local. What is it? The Crater Lake vodka that you love. All the Crater Lake products. You can find them at all the liquor stores.
There is a new distillery that does vodkas up near us called Western Sun, and literally, it is a stone's throw from my house.
Oh, nice.
It's up there. I've yet to be there though, but like all the bars around here have it. No.
I mean, that's the beauty about buying local.
Yeah.
You can find it local. There's this one particular restaurant bar that's in Vancouver, Washington. They only carry Washington State beers, wines, and liquors. If it was not produced in Washington State, you will not find it there.
Yeah.
They will not carry Coors Light. They will not carry Bud Light or any of the national brands. They will not carry it. But if it's Rainier, Washington, you will find Rainier. Olympia, you will find it there. And all the, like Skunk Brothers would be one you would find there. So anything that is distilled in Washington will be found there. And I thought that was awesome because they have a very distinctive niche that when I've told people about it, they're like, I want to go there.
Yeah.
Because they're so specific. And so if there's something in Washington that you can't find somewhere else, especially if you're in Oregon, you can just cross over the bridge, go into Vancouver, check out the place, and come back home. So it's very specific. A lot of the liquor stores here in Oregon will have Made in Oregon. So a whole section is dedicated to Made in Oregon.
And we have a few of those in Texas where they're made in Texas type deal.
Okay. The sad thing is when I went to Tennessee and I was looking for a Tennessee made whiskey and I'm looking, they're like, oh, down this aisle. And I'm like, how did I miss it? I walked down that aisle. And so I walked down the aisle and everything was Jack Daniels. Like the entire thing. So I came back and I said, I didn't fly across the country
to get Jack Daniels.
I can get that at home. What do you have that's local?
Yeah.
Like made here in Tennessee. And they're all, oh. And they had this one little shelf that was probably 3 feet by 6 feet. I'm like, you're kidding me. That's how you display your Made in Tennessee product? No. Wow.
We stopped, this would have been 2014. We were doing a road trip back from Virginia Beach, going through Tennessee, and we stopped at a Tennessee winery to do a wine tasting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
5% has to be from Tennessee to call it 5% of the grapes have to be from Tennessee to call it Tennessee wine. I'm like, 5%?
So that's not Tennessee.
Like, that's not Tennessee. I'm like, almost everything we were served was mainly come out of Napa. I'm like, that. I remember that being my biggest disappointment. Going, yeah, I'm here because I was hoping you share. Like when I go to New Mexico, St. Clair, or they call it something else now, but St. Clair, or Bubbling Stream or something like that. It's called up in the mountains. Those are New Mexico wines,
right?
The grapes are grown in New Mexico, right? And or Missouri. I've been to a Missouri winery. 75%. Missouri is a higher standard. 75% of the grapes have to be called a Missouri wine.
Okay. When I was in El Paso, I remember going to a wine festival with one of my friends, the one Nina. She got me into wine tasting way back when, and we went there, and they had all these things where there were spritzers and mixing. And then she's all, if you have to spritzer or mix your wine, it's not your best wine. And we had done some tastings and we're going, yeah, nope. Sorry, El Paso. It is just not the climate for the best grapes, even those that were Texas grape wines, and the majority of these were. It just was not to my level of satisfaction for wines. So I just went, man, it's okay. I can do without Texas wine.
Some of that region, El Paso through New Mexico, there's some mountains that they can grow that. They can grow the grapes on it and are really good.
New Mexico, absolutely, because I remember crossing all my hangout spots. I would go from El Paso to New Mexico to go to Cloudcroft, and to go into mountain towns, because El Paso is just flat desert. It's just flat. We had the Franklin Mountains that just kind of went like up and down, and that was it. And there was nothing on there, so it's like all rocks. So very desert. But New Mexico, their climate is a little different. That's where we talked about hatch chilies a few weeks back, and New Mexico does have everything. And it depends on what part of New Mexico you're in. You're going to get more mountainous, and climates are a lot different. And other parts of Texas, also have other climates. But when it comes to as far west as you can go in Texas, it's pretty much desert.
No, Texas, Texas down south, there's the hill country. A lot of great growing regions down there. We're getting some growing regions here north of DFW, but not quite as the hills as you'd get from Napa. So you get the hills, you got the temperatures that go up and down, whereas here you'll get the summertime hot.
Yeah, and so it really changes how the grapes grow, their flavor. When there is, it depends on the number of rainfall here in Oregon. Rainfall, heat, how much do they get in the morning? I mean, all these things change the climate. Like Napa and Sonoma, for the most part, they're pretty resilient in that it's fairly consistent for the most part. But when it comes to Oregon, we sometimes have those fluctuation of 100-degree days or frost and all these things. And all of those things will change the flavor of the grape. Yeah. So when you go from year to year, each year each vintage will have its own flavor palette. And so it makes it just interesting to be able to taste those things. So it's been fun. And here in the Willamette Valley, we're on the same meridian as France. So that's why we have such delicious Pinots here, because the weather just is similar to France. Therefore, we get that climate that just makes Pinot Noirs absolutely delicious. Even though California has some okay Pinot Noirs, Oregon will always beat them out. Whereas California has some absolutely delicious Cabs and Chardonnays. So there's certain things that are grown in California that are much better than Oregon. But Oregon, when it comes to Pinot Noirs, absolutely over California.
Yeah, cool. So, interesting podcast today. All right. Interesting foods, interesting drinks. I don't know what else to add to that, girl.
I think we're good. I think we shared some great information. Thank you for those new listeners, or at least some of the new folks that have chimed in. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. Hopefully you have learned something. We had made you laugh, maybe even cry, shared some good information, and hopefully you continue to be part of our listeners and subscribe to our channels on YouTube, on Facebook. The reason I say YouTube and Facebook is because we do show the bottles. We do show the colors. We do bring those things to life, which are a little different than if you're on Spotify or Apple. So all your channels, you're going to find us. But when you can see us being goofy and, cleaning stuff out of our teeth because we just got,
Tim is always cleaning stuff out of his old man teeth.
Yeah, there's that. And it's so much more fun. He doesn't do it as much anymore because he wears darker clothes now. When he would wear white during a podcast where there was Bloody Marys and tomato-based barbecue, and it would be all over his shirt. That would make it even more fun. So thank you so much for being here. But subscribe, share with your friends. And also, you want to make sure you get into our Insiders Club, like thewayyoudrink.com. Must be 21 or older.
It's free to join, but you have to be 21 to join. Yeah.
Yep. But you will get additional information, so please join. That's kind of fun things. We have so many additional things that we've been adding. You will have access to things that you would not otherwise have. There is an upgrade. The Insiders Club is free, but if you want the upgrade with the added goodies, there is a cost to that. But just
it's per the goodie. It is per the goodie. We have to say that it's per the goodies. So, like, if you want some of our alcohol that we have bottled, that's where the cost is, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason we have it is we can only sell and ship that to people over 21. So you have to be 21 in order for us to do that. That's why we have a requirement of showing that you're 21 to be able to ship this to you.
That's right. But we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you sharing. We appreciate you being part of our gang, of our tribe.
We're going to shout out to Firehouse Subs today. Thank you guys for what you do. Yeah. All right. And the fact that you have a charity element behind what you do. Firehouse Subs, we do appreciate you. And it was really good to actually taste your goods on the air today. So. Yeah.
And your staff was amazing, helping me find what was going to go with my cinnamon whiskey, and spot on. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
All right. Last but not least, the two people who pay for this whole podcast to make it possible.
Who are these folks? Who are we and what do we do?
It's these two business owners that are staring you in the face, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Gladys Beltwell Insurance by Design, helping employers become employer of choice through providing employee benefits. There are 101 different ways to attract and retain quality staff. And this book helps you simplify that. You can always get on my calendar and we can have that discussion at enrollnoworegon.com. Even if you're not in Oregon, guess what? I know brokers across the U.S. and I will connect you with somebody that will help you if it is something I cannot do. But this is Gladys Beltwell with insurancedesignpros.com. Don't go to insurance. Oh my goodness. Insurance by Design. My website is insurancedesignpros.com. If you want the white paper on this book, if you go to my website, Insurance Design Pros, on the upper left-hand corner, click on the button, it will give you the white paper. This goes into details and the whys. The other one is just a list. But if you get on my calendar, we can go into what you can do to attract and retain quality staff. And this is my co-host.
You know, it's interesting you said that, because today someone called me to ask me about my insurance needs.
Really?
And I'm really going, oh, yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that. Well, do you have someone that you would connect to? I'm like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do a podcast with her. I'm like, I'm sorry that you are going to get ruled out on this one, but her and I have another partnership as to why.
Right.
Oh, I guess you're all set then. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Somebody from Maryland, they're like, hey, could you quote me? I'm like, absolutely. You know, and so I do have access to multiple states. I focus primarily on Oregon, Washington, because I live in Oregon, and Washington's, you know, across the river. California is 5 miles or 5 hours south, maybe 6. I mean, getting to the border doesn't count. You still got to go another hour before you get into civilization. And so West Coast is what I primarily focus on, but I do have access across the U.S. But sometimes there are certain brokers that I trust that I want to utilize in those states, just because they know those carriers and requirements a little bit better than I do. And you know what? Work with other brokers. Collaboration. That's what it's all about.
So anyway. A little bit about me, guys. Simple, easy websites. I design websites for the small businessman, the entrepreneur, and solopreneur. If you need an affordable solution, that's what we are. We're affordable solution. We have a template system that works out to help you, your website, tell a story and get people to book an appointment with you, become leads, become customers, things like that. All right. It is all designed to make the customer review your website, all right, and understand your process little by little. You want to find out more about how we can help, go to simpleasywebsites.com, book a consultation with me, or download our free website planner and get our content writer as a free gift. So go ahead and take a look at that, simpleasywebsites.com. All right. We're in the business of helping people in small business. We believe in online success, 3 clicks or less. Anyway, that being said, fun.
It was. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Don't worry. Don't drink too much, but cheers.
Cheers.